Let's get some reaction to this. We bring in advocate Brenda Madumise, who's the director for Wise for Africa. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, learning of more and more harrowing stories of gender-based violence, which continue to happen. In fact, as you and I speak this evening, advocate, we heard Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi speaking to the Social Development MEC Faith Mazibuko, and saying that he hopes that her role will serve to assist NGOs in tackling scourges like gender-based violence and ensuring that they are able to do their work to protect those who find themselves being victims. What is your reaction to the story, and of course perhaps reacting to the dedication that we heard from Premier Lesufi around ensuring that they're working more with NGOs instead of not, assisting them?
No, good evening, and thanks for having me. I think what Premier Lesufi should...
Okay, we appear to have lost advocate on that end as we try and get some reaction. Advocate, if you'll allow me, pardon me, we were not able to hear you because your line doesn't sound so good. Perhaps just start from the beginning there, as you explained to us your reaction to this harrowing account and the role that you think NGOs should play.
So I was saying, Premier Lesufi is also responsible for leading the charge against the fight against gender-based violence. It's not the responsibility of MEC Mazibuko alone as the MEC of Social Development. One of the approaches that we have taken with gender-based violence is that it's a multisectoral approach and intervention that must be taken. So you can't leave it to one individual and expect them to act. It requires him as the leader to give the marching orders and lead and himself show and demonstrate that leadership as premier of this province. Having said that, with what is coming out, and we're appreciative of these conversations, but these engagements, because if we are not, resilient and vociferous in our approach in highlighting the scourge and bringing out into the open the killing of many women, the rape of many women, is that people will not get to know that it is happening, and it gives us the opportunity to get those who are in power to do something about it. So what has happened in Mpumalanga, that you have a young woman killed in the most gruesome manner, and that you have individuals thinking that they can hide their gruesome act, and because they thought that they will never be caught. It's something that we have to work on, because this impunity that we see across perpetrators of gendered violence is what makes them emboldened, because they think that they can never be caught. So we applaud the police once they have a breakthrough and that there's action. What is important is what is going to happen after the fact, that once these individuals have been arrested, we're hoping for a conviction and a sentencing.
Thought that they will never be caught speaks to the role of law enforcement officials in South Africa and the muscle of the justice system. How much progress do you think has been made there as you make this call for sentencing and not have people just walking out because perhaps there's not enough evidence? Some of the reasons that we've heard over the years when it comes to ensuring that people are thrown behind bars.
I think what is assisting at the moment is that almost everyone is under the microscope. There's a spotlight being shown on these cases. We're talking about it. We have the opportunity to address the public on these matters on a daily basis. So there's a spotlight, and the police know that they're under the spotlight. There are also cases that have put police on the spotlight and made them to be aware of their responsibilities and their constitutional mandate on how they such cases. gender violence cases. So they know that they cannot escape all of this. They have to do the best when they investigate such cases. And that's why they know that they can't relax. And we need to continue to put the pressure so that they, one, do the right things by investigating properly and appropriately, and ensuring that they gather evidence in the best way and secure that evidence so that that evidence can be put before a court, and a conviction they can get a successful conviction.
What sort of more protective laws would you say are needed for women and children, which will ensure that there's stiffer punishment for the perpetrators of gender-based violence?
Listen, I think, laws on their own will not resolve the problem. I think where we should be as a country is really putting time, effort, resources on preventative interventions and measures, right? And all of these things must run in tandem. So why you have laws and policies is precisely because you want to have certainty for anyone who transgresses, to know that there will be consequences should they kill, should they rape, should they sexually violate another human being. So you have laws just to ensure that there's certainty and that we know how to address that kind of crime, right? Yeah. But what we are missing is the preventative side of it, and we have to, if anything, this year, this new administration must focus its attention on putting preventative interventions and measures in place so that we can have less and less of these incidences and acts of violence perpetrated against women happening. So laws are not a solution. We can have as many, and we do have laws. I mean, once you have a constitution that guarantees your safety, you and I safety, surely I should be able to walk the streets of this country without fear of being attacked. But that's not the case, right? So the state has got an obligation to ensure that we are safe, and they've been failing to do so, even though we have it in paper as a law. So, we can have as many laws as we can. If we don't work on the prevention side, and we don't work on changing attitudes and working on ensuring that the policies that we have put in place and the laws that we have put in place are executed and implemented in their entirety.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion there. Speaking to Brenda Madumise, Advocate Brenda Madumise, who's Director for WISE for Africa, of course, speaking about the interventions which are needed to tackle the scourge of gender-based violence.